Welcome to our weekly Emuna is Our Future class. This is part of the public victory that we spoke about in the previous week, and it's about listening from an inner place, really listening, real listening. Now, I know myself, this is one of the hardest things, the inner, real listening, to really listen. Now, you guys are listening, and you're online, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. And to be present is something which is an art. It's a true art to listen. Stephen Covey, who we're basing this on, is offering us a very big insight to what does it mean to listen. How do we really listen to someone? And his famous statement is, seek to understand and then be understood. This is listening, to really seek out the person in front of you. In a way, it takes very righteous people to reach a level of true listening. I will say this because I've been in righteous people out of Shalom Arush, other Rabbonim around in Yerushalayim Kodesh, and in the world, very holy people who've really worked on themselves. That when you talk to them, there are people given this gift, therapists, psychologists on some level, where they're able to really listen. And it makes such a difference when someone is really able to listen. Like, the feeling of validation, the feeling of being heard, the empathy, the deep emotional comfort of having another human being listen to you. There was many great stories of famous righteous people, for example, Lubavitcher Tzaddikim, who had the power to really listen to the point where it was such an exertion of meeting people, because by the end of listening to the person, they would be wearing the other person's garments as if. They literally took on the garments of the person coming to them in the meeting, so that they were wearing that other person's baggage, that other person's clothing, that other person's source of pain, and they were wearing it. And each time then when the person went out, and they had to get dressed back to themselves, and then dress again into that other person's baggage, because they really heard the person's clothing of what was going on, the inner essence. And that changing of clothing and back and forth of all the people coming in was like just so like intense and excruciating, and to the point where it took a lot of self-nullification and humility. These are the 2 points, I think, nullification and humility on this week's Emuna class. To really have that humility to hear other people, and to, when you hear things, say, for example, there's a lot of, unfortunately, on the media, a lot of negativity about people or on different groups, and you hear this like negative comment about someone, instead of saying, yeah, I believe that, the Lashon Hara, whatever it is, the not good words, to believe it, the war, the battle of Parshat Teitzei is to say, no, I'm going to do the inner work. I'm going to become a better person. I heard that not good thing, seemingly, because I need to work on myself. And I'm going to come to a better place of connection. And that is like something which all of us in this generation can do more of. Like it's a whole external experience online, about this person and that person, and you listen to politics. Like, I see so much inner work needing to be done, because everyone seems to have issues with everybody. And that's not really listening to other people. People are deep. People are way, way deeper than we can imagine. They have a godly spark within. I was listening to Gedalia Fence, and he was bringing out the point of how a person can really turn through the mindset of how you approach life. A person can be very humble in how he deals with things and not take it to the point where he's in control and it should be different. Like, really, with humility, to accept the situation. So too with the person in front. How many times have I personally, if I would only have listened to the person in front of me, I would have been able to really hear their voice, and it would have been a different experience. I would have been able to hear who that person is and really connect in an everlasting, eternal way. That we're souls, and that my soul has to have a certain humility and nullification, that person is a great person in front of me. Now, I did write that there's a concept of, these 5 Shabbases that we've already had, and this is coming up to the 5th, there's 5 concepts, these habits, are all part of going from private victory to public victory, from the inner work to the outer work. So why would this again be to do with inner? Because the point is, to have that public victory, a win-win, you have to really be able to listen to the other person. You can't go ahead in your victory and your winning it and want the people around you to really win unless you're really making space for them and listening to them. So that when you're listening to them, now you can actually hear what they're needing, what they're really saying. I give you many examples, like in marriage. You see from Rav Shalom Arush's book, Garden of Peace, this idea of the more a person does the will of Hashem. It's from Rabbi Nachman. This idea, the more you do Hashem's will, the more your soulmate will do yours. It will be sort of joining together, this very deep concept that a person has to get to a point where he starts to realize that the person speaking to him is talking to him on a very deep level. It's not just the superficial concepts and needs, material needs, whatever it is. They're talking from their soul level. They want to connect to you. They want to have a moment of connection, and especially in marriage, especially in intimate moments, there's times of intimate connection, of true communication, where you can really listen to her voice, Shema Kolah, as it says in the Torah, to really hear her voice, and so too to hear the man's voice, to hear all the different kinds of people's voices in the world, to listen to the voice. This idea of the voice is tremendously deep. There's a concept of being able to express our voice nowadays, to be able to put out what we want to give over. But how much better if we'd actually listen, then we can actually become wise, then we can understand, and then we can have true knowledge. These ideas, these deep levels are coming from listening, really listening. So I just want to let everybody know that next week I'm away in London, and therefore I'm going to do a second class now. It's a little bit of a challenge for me. And the concept of giving over Emuna is very humbling for me, so that, thank God, that is important. And there's also very powerful lesson of nullification, because the idea of when you have a commitment, you create a connection, say to Breslev Israel or Chesed or any organization, or you decide you want to get married. I was assisting a friend, the idea of getting married, of a proposal and making an event. It was like so last minute what happened last week, and just nullifying yourself to just do the right thing, to be there for the people around you. I did not want to go out. I did not want to help. I did not want to be there. But when I saw my friend needing help to be able to propose to his future wife, and with all his personal scenarios, and to be there for him, to be for a friend, I was even willing, during the Emuna is Our Future tour, I was willing to somehow figure out that I could fly to the wedding, if that was when it was going to be, and fly back in time, in the middle of the tour. And I would do it with all the things going on, in the middle of Miami or wherever we were going to be. And that being there for a friend, for another person, that nullification, that is true joy. That gives happiness. That prepares us for Elul, for Rosh Hashanah. This gives us the true understanding of what Elul, Ani ledodi v'dodi li, that I am for my beloved is for me. There's true nullification in every relationship, that I am for you and you are for me. This deep relationship of giving and nullifying yourself and giving more. And this concept of then, once you give and you mashpia, you give over. This is a godly attribute. Once you connect yourself to these godly attributes, then you can come to the true yichud that we're going to be talking about in next week's class, which I'll be giving shortly. And that's the same with my trip to London. I have to make this video. I have to do everything that I would need to do usually in 2 weeks in 1 week. And that's the way it is. Hopefully we'll do some work there in London as well. I'll be available. People can reach out. Please God, I'll make some time for everybody. But the concept is that there's a certain nullification. You have a role, you have a mission. We spoke about this already. And then to get that into a public level, it has to become to awareness of the people you're talking to, and the people that you are in front of, and the people you're talking to online, and all the different commitments you make. And it becomes a larger picture of how slowly you can scale outwards to a much bigger, larger picture. So on that note, we'll end today's class, since we are doing a second one right now, with chizuk Everyone should just keep going ahead with all the wars that go on in life. Remember, the inner battle is all about becoming more in touch with your inner level, the inner soul, the inner voices, the inner voice of your loved ones, to really hear what they're saying, to really understand people, and then you really will understand, and then you'll be understood. There'll be an equal vessel to hear what you have to say, and I hope that you are listening, whoever is listening and sharing this, that we'll be able to understand that with the Emuna as our future tour. We better really listen to Rav Arush's ideas of Emuna. We'll live them on the tour. We'll be able to listen to the people around us, what they're asking us, and we'll be able to become someone who has a true public victory, and that will lead us, please God, to real togetherness with Mashiach b'meher v'yameinu amen. Thank you for listening. Have a beautiful week, and I love you all. Thank you.